All righty, folks. It's Friday night. It is all about the Flip with Rick. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Rick again. I am the Rick in Flip with Rick. You guys probably know my son Zachary, and I started this business 20 years ago. And on this show on Flip with Rick, we talk about everything that has to do with wholesaling. So let me know you guys are in there in the comments. I love to hear the market you guys are from. And honestly, you people that have experience in this, if you want to help some of the newbies out answer questions in it, it is most helpful, like the really basic questions. And so today we are all about talking about what not to say to sellers. And actually, I think this is a topic that's like just never discussed. So um, I'm pretty much an expert and authority on this because, to be honest with you, I've said everything wrong to a seller. So I'm going to just take the first 15 minutes and walk you through what not to say to a seller and use words to replace it. And these words, I'm telling you, if you guys, if you're not aware of like some of the stuff you're saying to sellers, this is going to make a tremendous difference for you. But it's going to be a very short one. It'll be a teachable moment. If you guys are on board, let's jump in. We're going to talk about all the words not to use with your seller. Now, today, we are specifically talking about the seller. Notice I didn't say buyer um, because buyers, that's going to be a separate show. And that's more like of what they have to do as opposed to the word. So, as I said, 10, 15 minutes, and I want to dedicate as much time helping people out there. I would love to see some new faces on here. Jump on. Guys, even if you haven't on a deal, like let's talk to it. If you want to get in your mindset, you guys have me here for 2 hours. It's kind of a use it or lose it. Okay. So Jamie's got that all figured out. He knows how to work it, right? So I do pay attention. So I got everybody in line there. So I see Anna, I see Jay, I see Malik, I see everybody on it. So let's jump on to this. So, guys, have you ever noticed like there's certain things you say to a seller that in a second, the entire energy in the room, like it feels like you could pop a balloon. Now, I've lost countless deals saying really stupid stuff, but I'm here to tell you, I'm going to give you the words you don't even know that are stupid that we say. Now keep in mind, words have meanings. And regardless of what you think the meaning of the word is, you have to think like a seller because what's important is how they define the words. Bottom line, you have to understand that. So I always think of like words. I'm like, how can that tick them off or like upset them or trigger them? I don't know, but I'm telling you, in 20 years, I'm going to give you the code to the words that absolutely tend to destroy deals or worse, lock people up and they won't sign your contract. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So it's a short presentation, guys. I promise you. Listen, I'm not a lawyer, accountant, or a psychic. Seek legal advice for entering in any type of contract. I just throw that out there because my lawyer tells me to do that. So, words. All words have meanings to sellers. You have to use them wisely. Okay. We've established it. Rick, I get it. Words, they're very important. But a lot of times we overlook that the timing and the timing and tonality of words are just as important as the words themselves. Let me repeat that. The timing and tonality of the words you use are just as important as the actual words. Do you see how like I slow it up at the end there? It's for emphasis. So I can read people's emotions by the way they say words back to me. Honestly, I didn't even know I could do this till I figured out so every time I would train an acquisitions person, I train Zach or all the countless people on this live is like I've just catered to what works for the seller. So if you guys can harvest even a quarter of this energy, it will make a tremendous difference in your sales presentations when you're dealing with sellers. I'm going to give you a couple examples. Okay. So let's start out with, so what do I say to a seller? Number one, always keep your words super simple. Keep it simple, stupid. That's what KISS stands for. Okay. Do not complicate. The worst thing you can do is talk over your sellers. I get it. We're all brilliantly educated. We're YouTube ninjas. Some of us have college degrees. Some of you guys have masters and doctorates, and that's amazing. But in wholesaling, that will not benefit you. I'm just here to tell you, you have to talk at or below the seller's level, because the minute you start shooting words over the top of their head, like, let me to look at an amortization schedule, let me look at the ARV, um, let me find out what the cap rate is, or let's get an appraisal, you have lost them. Okay. So, number one is understanding is you have to keep it super simple. Number two, I know this is going to sound really childish, but I'm telling you guys, if this is the only slide you get, take it. Okay. Talk at a third grade level. If a third grader can't understand what you're saying, the seller can't understand it either. It sounds crazy that I'm saying such stuff, but I'm telling you, it's true. Maybe you do it at a fifth or sixth grade, but I'm telling you, if you get too high in your word vocabulary, how you do this, you create anxiety amongst the seller. Okay. And a lot of our sellers, they don't like working with realtors. They don't like super professional people because they feel like they're going to get burnt. So, am I telling you to get down to their level? I'm just telling you to communicate with them directly like you do a child. It just works. Guys, women do this to us all the time. It just works. I can't stand when people talk over my head. It just ticks me off, especially like if I go in another area, like um, if I want to buy a car and someone's trying to sell me a supercharged engine and I don't know anything about it, I'm just like, I don't even know what you're saying. I do know about engines, but I'm trying to tell you. The other thing is number three is sellers just want the expectation spelled out. They have a lot of anxiety of what you're going to do while you're there. Can you even buy the house, and how long is it going to take, and what's the process? So I always tell you, when you precondition your seller, walk them through. Say, listen, whatever your protocol is, if it's going to take you 30, 40 minutes, we're going to walk through the house and I'm going to sit down and get to know you. And by the end, I'm going to make you an offer. And if it makes sense, you're going to give me a hard yes or no if you want to move forward with me. If not, I'm going to help you find a way to get your house sold. Does that sound fair? Okay. I find that taking the expectations off, this took me 5 years to figure this part out. And I want you to understand it. Sellers have no idea how long you're going to be there or what you're going to talk about, and they're scared to death. Okay. Number one, they want dignity and they want respect. Okay. And number two, they don't want to be embarrassed. A lot of times they have stuff going in their house. It's embarrassing. So in the expectations, I tell everybody and I teach all my sales staff, I'm not here to judge you. Okay. I have to take a look at the property and I want to help you out and create a win-win solution for you. Does that sound fair? So once they know you're there to help them and not judge them, it is a game changer when you talk to sellers. I hate that word game changer, don't you? So abused in this industry. So somebody hit the buzzard button when I say game changer, because I'm not going to use it anymore. Okay. Guys, put your questions in there and I will answer them as soon as we're done here. I promise it's going to be a short one. Okay. Never say these words to a seller. Okay. And I'm just telling you right off the bat, do not tell them you're a wholesaler. They don't understand what that is. Okay. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's true. Okay. You are going to pre-label yourself as a wholesaler. The reality is you're a person there to help fix their problem and help them out best you can and let them save their dignity. That's what you truly are. If you say wholesaler, goes, oh, my friend told me about you wholesalers. It's like you guys steal properties from people. They already have a preconceived notions. Remember, sellers have definitions for the words you use. They're not your definitions. They're what they hear on the street and on the internet. Okay. The other one's investor. Same thing. I know we're all technically investors, but the reality is you're going to be pre-labeled and have a preconceived notion. So wholesaler, investor, just get rid of it. Guys, you're simply a cash buyer. A cash buyer looking to buy a property in the area. That's it, because it's the truth. Okay. Don't ever bad talk your competition to your sellers. It just blows up in your face. I've done this, guys. It just doesn't work. Okay. The minute you start trash talking a realtor or other wholesalers, you look bad, not them. You look bad. Okay. And number three, this is a big one on me. Don't be an order taker. What do I mean by that? It means if you're in a conversation with a seller and they just start saying, Rick, what's the price? What's the price? How quick can you close? And you start going down that rabbit hole, you're stuck. You know why? Because they're asking the questions and you're doing the answers, and it's supposed to be the other way around. Okay. You have to ask high quality questions and lead the conversation. So if you find yourself going down the order taker route, like I'm at McDonald's, I want a number one, I want a number two, I want a large Coke, I want this. When they start hammering you before you start your presentation, you have to put it in check. Okay. It drives me nuts. And a lot of you think, well, that's what they want. I'm going to appease them. You will never get anywhere with an order taker because you have to lead the seller. You have to walk them down your funnel to find out if they're going to be a good fit for your program. Okay. So if you can't ask them the qualifying questions, you'll never get anywhere. So I always say, listen, seller, I know you got a lot of questions. Listen, I'm going to get to the offer, but listen, I got to take a look at the property and I have to ask you some questions to see if you're a good fit for our program. Do you mind if we take like 10 minutes and go through those questions? Do I have permission? And immediately they will sit down and they're in check and they get it. So if they lead the charge, you're in big, big trouble in wholesaling. I know, hey, Rick, what's that got to do with words? I'm just telling you, when they start screaming off orders to you, put it in check as soon as possible. Okay. Um, Let me keep going. I see you guys' questions. I promise I'm going to answer them. Don't use the word home. I know you're probably like, Rick, why would I use the word home? I'm here to tell you the problem with the word home when you deal with a single family house, okay? Home is what's in the house. Do you understand that? It's all the memories, it's every type of notch that was on the door that the kids grew up. Like we all have memories in our homes, okay? They always say your home is where is in your heart, and I truly believe that. So the problem is if you keep using the word home, you are going to re-solidify that emotional connection and you're going to make it tougher for them to sell the property. So what do I use other than home, Rick? You can use house. House works. You can use property, simple things like that. But home has a subconscious link to people's memories and the events that happen in the house. And for that reason, I don't like to use the word home. I've had sellers cry. I've had sellers renege on deals. I've had sellers go like, this is my home. I can't leave it. And listen, I'm here to make them. But if they have a decision they want to make, just stop using the word home because they just feel like they're going to leave something. The reality is home is where your family is. It's where your heart is. And the reality is they need to sell that home to fix their problem. So get away from the word home, property, house, residence, whatever you want to do. Okay, so let's talk about phone appointments. Here's the two things you got to stop doing. And this is the biggest violator of them all. You ready? Stop asking them how much their house is. Stop. Okay. How much is your house for sale? How much do you want for your house? How's this? How's that? Simply just replace with this. What do you need to get out of this property? What do you need to get? Things like that. You never ask is a terrible retail world. What's your asking price? I want $1 million. Why I can't do that. Okay. Well, you asked. That's right. So if you ask a question, be prepared for an answer you don't want. Okay. What I truly like to say is, will you take the offer I'm presenting it? So just reverse engineer it. What do you need to get for this property, John? And just shut up. That's the biggest secret. Shut up. Don't say any more words. I'm going to get to how we solve this problem. Okay. Stop asking people how much their property is. Guys, a lot of you are just starting out and you're like, okay, Rick, I get on the phone. It's simply, are you the owner of the property? Hey, how much you need to get for that property? Or even if you're interested in selling it, but like, especially if you're on the phone, the words really matter. Stop asking them how much. Okay. Ask is a terrible, terrible word because if you ask, they're going to give you an answer and you're probably not going to like the outcome of it because they're thinking the highest price when you do that. Okay. Physical appointment words. You ready for this? Signature. Replace it with okay or autograph. I have lost more deals over the word signature than I care to ever tell you. Now, why does it happen? The reality is these are trigger words. They're they're linked to their subconscious, and these are references of past experience they have. They know signature is final. It's like a lawyer. It's an agreement. It's like, oh my God, like it's tough. So instead of signature, go listen. Hey, Mr. Seller, can I just get your okay on this? Hey, can I get your autograph? It works. It's like it's a flattering thing. Okay. Number two, contract. Probably one of the worst words you can use in wholesaling because it implies very finality. It implies lawyer, and it implies you can never go back. And I've watched people literally cinch up and just cringe when you use the word contract. And for that agreement, just replace it with agreement. Okay. Some people use paperwork. I don't like paperwork. I like the word agreement. Can you simply okay this agreement? Sure, Rick. Or, hey, can I get your signatures on this contract? Oh, I don't know. I think I got to have my wife look it over and my lawyer and my neighbor. And you see how I just switched the words on it? It just makes it, because a lot of times, if you can just get that signature, you are well on your way. You're not done, but you got past the biggest hurdle on it. Okay. The other one's inspection. Okay. If you have an inspection period on the property, I want you to start referring to it as a property review. We switched this about 5 years ago, and I'm just telling you, it's much easier to get an approval for a property review than it is an inspection. Inspection sounds, think about the word inspect. It's very, very final. Okay. Oh my God, an inspection. They're going to inspect me. I went to a dermatologist the other day. The inspection was so thorough, it was scary. Okay. If he did a body review, I probably would have been fine with it. But I'm just telling you, words have meanings and you've got to understand them. In the beginning, you're not aware of what the words mean. You have to understand what your seller defines the words as. And like that's the real key. Okay, we're almost done here. Filler words. If you use a lot of ums or like, I'm just saying, guys, I do it too. You guys have called me out on this live and I love it. Okay. I say all the time is, you want to be honest with you. Like, that's just my personality. I'm authentic, but it is a filler line and I'm aware of it. And so I got to find myself every time I do it. So the reason you guys put in filler words is number one, you feel uncomfortable when it's dead air. So let me unravel this for you. When it's uncomfortable and there's dead air, you're usually waiting for a response from your sellers. If you put filler words in there, you don't give them time to answer it, and you actually make them uncomfortable. I've learned this the hard way. Okay. Number two, if you just be authentic with your words. So like, look right now, I have no script. Me and Zach use never, ever in our careers have used a teleprompter. You know why? Because it's not authentic. It's like you guys would, I guarantee if I put a teleprompter in front of this camper, you would know in 2 seconds. Everything's perfect, roll through it. So like right now, when I have gaps in my words, you're better off with the silence than going, well, let me, okay, I'm not sure. You're better off just being silent. It comes off as authentic. It really does. And here's a little trick. If you're stuck with words and you're frazzled, look up. You know why? Because you're telling the seller, I'm searching in my brain to give you the correct words for it, and they will forgive you for it. If you start using those BS words in between, it becomes very habitual and it's hard to get rid of. So filler words are your biggest problem when you come to the final offer. Say, Mr. Seller, I tell you what if I could offer you $75,000 pay all cash and close in 30 days with a 10-day property review? Is that something you're interested in? Stop. I've had people make me sit there for a minute, sometimes two. It is probably the most uncomfortable time you'll ever have in your life. In the beginning, I used to fill that space. Well, if you're not sure about it, we can think about it, or we can circle the drain, one more time and go back over everything. And you are actually stalling them, and you make them uncomfortable by doing it. So, guys, just be aware of filler words. And once you become aware of them, you can fix it. If you're not aware of it, you can't fix it. So if you're not sure, sit down with your spouse or somebody in your family and just go through a mock trial closing with a seller, or pretend you're on the phone with a new lead, a seller coming in, and listen to the words or record yourself. My God, we record VAs, record yourself, listen to them. Me and Zach, more than I want to admit, go back and watch our lives and we pick ourselves apart. Actually, Zach picks me apart a lot more than I pick him apart, but I'm just going to say, we found just being authentic is the best way because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So when you don't know something, try this trick. Just look up and think and use your brain. It works. Eventually, I promise you, you will fill the space. It'll become a complete no-brainer. So many people, like, I was the biggest word filler. Like, the word like is one of the biggest word fillers of them all. Like, just saying. Guys, put on here if you have like word fillers on here. We all do them. It's human nature. The problem is sellers will catch on to your filler words, especially if you have multiple conversations with them, and they'll start to notice your tendencies, and you don't want to do that. Okay, so do not discuss these with sellers. Okay, number one, politics. I don't need to get in this. I don't care what your political affiliation is. I'm in the wholesaling party, so it doesn't matter. Okay, religion. Doesn't matter what your religion is. We're one big giant world. There's a million different ways to cut this up. I don't get into religion and politics because it's not my wheelhouse. I have my own beliefs, but I don't push it on you guys. That's what a good steward, a good leader does. I'm not going to force you to be what I am, and nor is what I am going to change how I'm going to help you out or the type of person I'm going to be. Number one, I'm a human and I care about people. Okay. I want to see everybody win. Okay. That's my religion if you really want to know it. My financial status does not matter to the seller. They want to know if you can fix the problem. So if you got 200 million in the bank or you've got 20 bucks in the bank, if you can help them and bridge that gap and get them a cash buyer, you are the hero. The last one on this that you got to really understand is stop lying to sellers. Those of you that are young and you think it's cool, like you're going to tell them I got millions of dollars, all this stuff, you're going to get busted. Here's the reality. As far as lies, to me, it's so hard to lie because after a while you start putting down so many lies. How do you keep track of this stuff? What do you like keep a CRM with it? It's much easier just to tell the truth because you don't have to go find it. And most people lie because they're uncomfortable because they think they don't know all the answers to the problem. And the reality in all businesses, most people don't know the answer. Like a lot of people, they don't know all the answers. I can smell a BS artist like a mile away. And our business is there's so many, it's disgusting. Okay. So if you're going to base on like, if you want to base people on stats, like how many followers does he have, this, that, guys, you can buy all that stuff. It's all fake. And what I find is once one person starts lying about this or their business or that, it just never stops. And it's going to roll over in your family. It's going to cause you major heartache. Stop the lying. If you don't know the answer, simply go like this. You know what? That's a great question, seller. Let me get somebody on my team and I'll get the correct exact answer for you. And I'm going to get right back to you or I'll put it on a 3-way call. Can you give me 2 hours? That's it. So you don't have the answer. You know why people lie? It's because of their ego. They can't let their ego go. And I've told you guys, number one, if you can't lose your ego in wholesaling, you're going to have to fake it for the rest of your life because your ego will mislead you every time. So stop lying. It doesn't work. And honestly, it's so much easier to tell the truth because you don't have to keep track of your lies. If somebody had like a CRM lie machine, it would work well. Okay. So final thoughts on this. Okay. What to say to sellers. Number one, tell the truth. Okay. If you have a risky subject, AKA politics or religion, before you put your foot out there, make sure you know the answer. Okay. So if you tell someone, hey, I see like you're a big Republican Party type of guy, you better dang well know for sure that that is correct, or you are a fish out of water, and I promise you they won't do a deal with you. So I like to stay away from it, but if they constantly talk about it's all over the wall, who cares? Who cares, guys? Like, you really think there's like 2 or 3 parties in this entire country? It's ridiculous. Okay. So if you're going to go on a risky subject, please make sure you know the outcome of how you're going to ask it. So just say, listen, I see that you love fishing and stuff like that. You better see fishing pictures everywhere because maybe like they're like an animal rights activist person. They don't want to see a hook in a fish's mouth. Then I'm going to be in trouble if I start promoting like fishing. Okay. It goes on and on, guys, just like that. So if you go in a subject matter like you're not sure about, you better make sure you know the answer before you go down that rabbit hole. Okay. This goes without saying, just focus on the seller's needs. If you focus on their seller's needs, keep it on a third grade reading level, you can't get in trouble talking to a seller. Think about this. Everybody on the show, you have children. Think about how you communicate to young children. It's clear, it's precise, and there's no way they can mix it up. Okay. Boys are infamous for this. Okay. When Zach was tiny, tiny little, I used to sit him down and we used to go, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is how long you got to do it. And here's what happens if you don't do it. It's really straightforward. You have to do the same thing. And guys, this one goes without saying, eye contact is everything. That's why I tell you, if you can physically meet with a seller, if you can obviously get the words, you can get the tonality and the speed of the words, and then you get facial. And eyes, in my opinion, are the single most important feature to see someone when you meet them in person. Eyes tell you everything. Now, if you're just being in wholesaling, do not spend time studying eyes. But for those of you that are stepping it up, guys like Corey that are killing it on the show, you need to go find some books. Most of them are free. Go out and learn how to read people's facial expressions. It will blow your mind. It's about 90% accurate. And sellers are very transparent because a lot of them are advanced when they're selling those. I can tell what they're doing when they look up, when they look down, they look away. Like, honestly, it's 90% effective. It's a skill you actually have to learn. If you're just beginning it, don't worry about it. If you're becoming more advanced, you got at least 10 contracts, start figuring it out, guys, because with kids, it's a dead giveaway. With adults, it's a little bit more challenging. If you have a very advanced negotiator, it doesn't work that great. So, guys, these are the tips. Like Sandra's got it, like squinchy face. She listens to me. It works. It works. Squinchy face means I've got doubt. I'm concerned. I'm scared. Like, I'm going to take on all your anxiety. You just give me the answer and I'll fix it for you. Okay. Guys, these are things that make a tremendous difference. So I want you to remember that when you're talking to sellers, really basic stuff. I know it sounds like really basic, but I'm telling you, after you do this a while, like I'm getting ready to approach 21 years, you start to pick up like some real big gem bombs that you notice trends. I'm like, okay, like my entire time 30s doing wholesaling was just a rush. Like I did deals so fast, so fast. I had so much fun with it. And then as I got older, I started like really learning and started writing down. So I'm going to answer a couple questions online and I'm going to jump on everybody that's online. If you guys are new to this,